Hey, it's Jave and Allison from Kill Pop and Two Dudes Reviews. Typically, I've got another dude hanging out here, and my wife is a super fan of the band, and the other dude, for whatever reason, I don't know, he had like stupid back issues or something, and he had a chiropractic appointment that you guys have had chiropractic appointments, right? And sometimes your back is thrown out, and it takes like 2.5 damn weeks to get an actual appointment in, and so when you finally land one, and I tell him yesterday, hey, we're confirmed to talk to Josh and Alex from Badflower, but it's for tomorrow at 5:30, and he said, I can't do it. I've been waiting for a month to get this stupid chiropractor thing, so he couldn't make it. And she's a super fan, so she's not a broadcaster like I am, so she may ask some questions, or she may just look longingly into your eyes, Josh. I don't know.
Aw.
Okay, good. So, wow. You know, guys, I've got to say congratulations on the new song "Ghost." Do you have a sense? You've been doing this for a bit, right? Do you have a sense that something has changed, something is different with the release of "Ghost"? There's like a new excitement that is a bit bigger than the last time you guys were at bat.
I mean, in terms of the songwriting, we're a bit older now, and I feel like a lot of what we've released in the past is almost like practice. It wasn't practice, it was important, and it was, a lot of people really loved it, but for us, it was like, we still didn't know exactly who we were and what we wanted to say, and so getting the green light to make the next record after, like, you know, a year and a half, 2 years out on tour and playing that record and writing new songs and learning stuff, like, I feel like it's really discovered ourselves.
Interesting. Now, Josh and Alex, you guys have been together in Badflower since the very start, right? Since high school?
We didn't know each other since high school. We weren't friends then.
Oh, really?
No. Yeah, we didn't like each other. I was popular.
Is that true, or is it the opposite, Alex? You kind of like, I don't know.
Very, very true. I don't know. I was hung out with all the kids that like didn't shower and their parents didn't really care that they didn't shower. He wasn't one of them.
You know what, Josh? You and I share that entirely. However, I haven't gone the level of when you wrote "Move Me," where you hadn't showered in 4 days and are still wearing the same jacket and stuck at a truck stop in South Texas or somewhere. But that was kind of Alex, right? Alex, every 4 days you take a shower and then you go back to the writing pad or something.
Now Alex is like, I work like 2-3 times a day. I pause, I shower, and I haven't done any of that stuff.
So, from an outsider perspective, kind of looking in, I look at the strength of a song, and then I start doing a little bit of the background search on the band. Of course, the first song I came across was "Heroin," and then we saw "Move Me." Are you prepared, to be the biggest rock band in the world, over the span of the next 18 months? Because that's kind of what I'm hearing. I know that's a lofty thing to say, and you got to kind of humble yourself a little bit. But mentally, are you guys ready for that kind of a jump?
Get ready.
I have anxiety issues, and so I'm not ready. I'm just kidding. I'm ready.
I got you. All right. Now, with some high-profile suicides just in the last week, especially with Anthony Bourdain, man, and watching the videos, it really seems to me, Josh, that you can't fake emotion, right? You either are legit or you're not, or you're playing a part. How personal, in regard to the lyrical content of "Ghost," does the storyline have to do with actual events that have happened in your life, man?
Very personal. I mean, I've never, and I said this before, I've never actually think about it, but I think about it often. And I've been told that it's normal to think about it often, so I don't, that doesn't scare me too much. But I don't know. I got off the last tour, and I've had really bad anxiety issues. You had those problems that they turn depression, all, those sort of other things. And it was just really heavily on my mind. I got home, and I was so happy to be home, but I was so ultimately satisfied because I knew that I had these problems and it's something I was going to struggle with the rest of my life. And so I just wanted to write a song that was like, sort of like therapy. I wanted to write out the details of if I were to go through with that and how I would feel about it. And in doing so, I sort of learned this is not the option call. This is not something that I can do. But it was cool. It was cool to be able to write it and And honestly, when I wrote it, I didn't think that I didn't think it was a record. I didn't think it was a single. None of that. This is probably heavy. This is just me, but I really like it.
Right, and the video is pretty uniquely hard to watch. It kind of freaked me out how difficult just the first 30 seconds of that video was to ingest. Was it equally hard to make?
No, it was easy to make. I mean, we knew we didn't want to make the video that was the exact representation of the song, because that would be really motive. We didn't want to show blood, risk, anything like that. And so we came up with the story that we knew how to talk about it. We were crying, just thinking about the idea of this guy who lost his fiance, and staging, building the wedding he never had, all in the images, managing representing his family, and, we just really loved the story, so it was actually a lot of fun to do.
That's
so
weird.
We did everything in-house. Like, we always do everything in-house. We built the entire set ourselves, and I co-directed with Jordan, who's technical right now. He's the director of the video. So, I don't know, all of it was really fun to be able to conceptualize the way that we did, and then execute it with every detail that we wanted to execute it with. And the record it was finding all of it and trust us. It was fun. I mean, of course, it was emotional. It was heavy. It was heavy to watch too. We sat editing it. The very first moment, seeing the mannequin turning to the girl, all of us we had chills. It was exciting. But it was also heartbreaking.
Do you have a name for the album, and what's the release date?
We have a name, and we can't tell you what it is. And we don't have a release date just yet. We're sort of those just went out and it's just on the radio and all that. So we're sussing out this guy.
So speaking of that, Move Me is such again, that was the third song that I heard. I really dug Heroin, and the Move Me was whoa, totally blown away. Tell me about Move Me. I understand you did it on the road. You hadn't showered in 4 days. You're let's just find a garage and do the video, and you did that. But there's a protagonist in there, a subject that you're taking your anger and disappointment out on. Is that anybody you'd care to talk about, or just an ex, or what? What's going on there, Josh?
Yeah, it was an ex.
Hell yeah, that song was way too deep. That's my favorite song. So I'm sitting here singing it. I'm learn to play this on the guitar. I want to sing it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was about an ex who I'm actually very friendly with now. Yeah, it was a heavy time. I don't even need to talk about it because I wrote the detail on it. I was heartbroken, and it was that nice that song was written in that video.
So that song was kind of your exorcism.
Yeah, and the song, sorry, Jordan's telling me to tell you. The song was written and the video was made years before we actually put it out. We made it and we never did anything with it. I don't even think I sent it out to team. I think I sent it out to our manager and a couple other friends and stuff here's the thing, and everybody loved it. We never intended on recording it properly or releasing it or doing anything with it. It was kind of just more as another therapeutic thing that I wanted to do for myself. And then while we were on the road, I was sitting at probably 6 a.m. and I just on a long drive, in the driver's seat, and I stopped at a truck stop and I'm sitting on my computer and I found the video on my computer. And I was like, this is really good. And I don't feel that anymore. I don't feel that heartbreak. So now I can watch it almost as a fan of what I've done in the past. And I was like, I think you should see this. And then I just put it up.
So is the video that we see on YouTube actually what you did in the garage? That's a garage-produced video?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. That is really, really cool. Now, let me get candid for a second.
Jordan made the video. I make all the videos.
Jordan, I'm working on the beard. Unfortunately for me, this is like 3.5 months worth of growing, man.
No bueno.
She refuses to let me shave it.
I won't let him shave it. I want a beard. Come on.
We're up here in the Lake Tahoe area, which you guys, I'm sure, are familiar with being from LA, right? And I occasionally try in the wintertime to grow a beard like that, but I'm relatively unsuccessful. It's real patchy. It pisses me off.
Not a lot going on down here, though. This area is really prominent.
The sad thing. The sad thing is, our 16-year-old son will probably have a bigger beard than he does at 21.
True story. Yeah, truth be known, this is because I have no chin. So I wear this to give the illusion of a chin. I'm embarrassed by it, but I've come to acceptance here at my age.
And like, what does it look like if you strip the beard back?
Shh. Stop.
Is your side profile sort of like a...
Oh, stop.
Come on.
Stop.
All right, you get it. By the way, this edition of Two Dudes Reviews on Kill Pop is brought to you by 10 Tour Brewing in Reno, Nevada. When you guys come to Reno, I would assume there's a beer drinker or four in the band. I got to take you guys to some of the new craft breweries here in town. We got some good ones.
Like a hoppy beer.
So if I can get candid really quick, how much of a help or hindrance is drug use when it comes to songwriting? That's not a loaded question. I'm just throwing it out there.
It's a huge help. It's a massive help. It's not something that anybody should need or should rely on, but yeah, it helps. John's really lucky in the fact that he can dive down into these drug binges and get himself out pretty quick. My parents are going to see this.
No, we're not going to show this one to mom and dad. In fact, tell me their names. I'm going to put them on the do not watch list here.
Oh, my God.
So with that said, how close to home is heroin, or were you just writing from observation through life?
I've done heroin. I've never done it.
God.
That's with all the family. I've never done heroin. But I know, it's the most, arguably the most addictive substance. And so I actually wasn't writing that song about a drug. I was writing a song about a person. And it just made sense to use that as a sort of prime metaphor for how I felt about a person.
And who's the hot blonde in the video?
Her name is Kaylin. She's a hot blonde. Kaylin Ostapovich. Yeah, she's a model.
Okay.
And,
did you guys get along when the cameras stopped rolling?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we know.
Okay. So is it safe to assume then, Josh, you're a fan of blondes or brunettes or redheads if you had your pick?
I'm a fan of exceptional women. There you go. So
What was that?
There's a lot of boxes required.
You said lots of check boxes to check.
Gotcha.
Listen, you kind of developed a love for music by listening to movie scores, right? Tell me, if you had an opportunity to, score a movie that's out, what would be the one movie that you could replace the music to? For me, it would be Saturday Night Fever, maybe.
Come on.
That's a hard question. The reason it's a hard question is because some of my favorite movies, because the music is so good. And I wouldn't want to replace it only because I could not do a better job than those people.
Right. You think about like Quentin Tarantino and some of the music behind some of the Pulp Fiction films. That without that music, man, those movies would not be half of what they became. Right.
Without that music.
Anything that James Horner's done is he's my favorite. Rest in peace. Like A Beautiful Mind. When I was young, I was a kid, and that came out, and that was like the score for that movie changed my life. And I remember one of the early memories I had was after watching that movie with my family, I would sit at the piano and try to figure out that score. And I still to this day, I can't wrap my brain around how brilliant that score is. That piece of music is my favorite piece of music ever. I don't know. I want to answer your question though. I'm trying to think of a movie that I love where the music kind of lacked and it could have been a lot better. That's hard. I'm going to think about it throughout the course of the interview, and then at a certain point, I'm just going to interrupt you and tell you what it is. That's
fine. No, that's cool. That's fair. Speaking of writing music, it can be easy when you're a struggling musician. You're just coming up to write, deep, heartfelt, kind of painful, introspective music when you're struggling coming up. But after you release a couple of albums, and I've seen this over time, working with a lot of these guys who've got plaques up on the back wall here, where the music after album 3 or 4 or whatever becomes somewhat predictable. All of a sudden the musician's life changes, and instead of struggling with all the guys living in an apartment together and living out of the back of a van and, like you say, only showering 4 days, or 4 days in between showers, and then all of a sudden you have your $1 million mansion and the residuals are coming through and your merchandise dollars are coming in. Everybody is living more comfortably. then there's no angst to pull from anymore. So aside from just having a library of music already written and in the can, how are you going to look for inspiration moving forward?
That's a good question, because that's important. But yeah, it's something that we talk about a lot, probably very twice a week. You can't predict whether or not that's going to happen. If it happens, it happens. But we have this vision of 3 months, and we make our first $1 million. Like our first $1 million of profit. This is your million. This is $1 million in a bank account. What do you want to do with it? Donate all of it to charity. All of it. Get rid of it.
Wow.
And then start over and see what you do.
That sounds like your parents.
Interesting, yeah. My father is a philanthropist and has told all of us kids. He retired as a senior executive vice president for USAA, so they've got some mad cash, and he's told all of us kids, listen, all this cash ain't going to you. You guys can have the artwork in the house, but everything else is going to charity. So, yeah, that's cool. I'll say that again. You cut out. It's in today's day and age, guess what? The number one form of retirement plan for the
inheritance
for Generation Z, or whatever the hell they're calling it, the 18 to 24-year-old kids, is relying on some type of a goddamn inheritance. I mean, what kind of a financial plan is that? That's nuts. So, yeah, I have never taken that for granted. Do you have a vocal coach?
No, I don't.
Is that something that maybe when, you guys are out there touring and playing, 300 out of 365 nights a year, you'll look at getting?
I don't think so. I think you should. I'm too stubborn. I don't want anybody to tell me how to do what I do.
I get it. I totally get that. But if you had somebody kind of like, everyone needs a trainer, right? I mean, it doesn't matter who you are in the NFL or the NBA, or you're using a sports analogy here. I mean, even Michael Jordan needed a trainer or a coach. Sometimes you just need somebody to make sure you don't hurt your voice, make sure you're singing properly so you don't screw it up with as hard as you sing night after night
really
after night.
hard. You gotta have somebody teaching you.
There was a video that somebody put out, and there's this woman, this female vocal coach, who goes around and vocal for, and she teaches these screamo bands how to properly use the vocal cords and not hurting anything. I would love to get Josh in touch with her. She seems to be awesome.
Yeah, before you get to the level of Chris Cornell and your voice goes completely out, and you have to have, or John Mayer, who, all of a sudden he's sidelined for a year and a half because he's got nodes on his vocal cords. Anyways, probably something to consider, maybe not. What's your least favorite part of the job, man?
Touring.
Touring, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I really have panic attacks on stage. I used to love it, and there are moments when I really love it, and I'm hoping that this next run, because the music is so personal and new and fresh, that I'm going to have a good time on board. I'm crossing my fingers that it's going to be a good experience for me, but yeah, that's my answer. It's a lot of pressure, and it's always high pressure shows now. It used to be when we were a younger band and nobody really cared. We would play in a bar for a couple people and we could suck and it would be fine. And now, we have the show at Sugar coming up, and every industry person in the world is wanting to see it.
Okay, I get to interject for just a second.
Sure.
You got to build a self-confidence that you're the best, no matter what. And you go out on a stage and you show everybody that. I'm the best. When you have that self-confidence, it's out there.
You're right. 100%.
And you got a great voice, so.
It's a difficult thing to do. To just tell yourself, hey, I'm the best.
But you got to believe it.
Yeah, true.
Thanks, Mom.
But it is, honestly, that's the best advice that I could get for something like that. Because I found the more narcissistic I become, the better I am with that. And when I start getting too humble, I start to panic. I start to really panic.
Do you feel...
It's a disaster. It's a recipe for an absolute disaster.
Now, for me, and I've heard this similar to a lot of folks, it's more difficult to get up and talk in a conference room in front of 12 people than it is to get up on stage and talk in front of 100,000. Do you find it easier to play the big festivals or the small club shows?
I found the festivals easier, yeah. It's not as intimate. I mean, and when I am having a good time on stage and I am enjoying it, which used to be all the time until lately, I love the smaller shows because I love being able to see people's faces and connecting. It's very intimate. But yeah, for the sake of the panic disorder and those problems, the farther away I am from people, the better. It doesn't matter how many people I'm just there's a lot. I can't see your face. Not bad, I think. So it's like you're all just blurry. You might as well be chairs. I don't know the difference.
So I know you guys are huge Jack White fans, and I listen to his most recent stuff, and I sit back and I'm a Jack White fan too. But the most recent stuff, I'm scratching my head like, what am I missing? What am I not getting on this? Am I way off base? Can you help me out? Can you help me form the connection here?
That's how I felt. I felt like I was supposed to be watching some avant-garde film. I didn't get it. But there's got to be something there. I'm missing something. I liked it. I liked the weird rants and the less singing and more, I just thought it was innovative and cool. I really loved it. I'm not the biggest Jack White fan. I mean, you're probably a bigger fan than I am. I like him a lot.
Wow.
So many videos, I listen to his album and I think, God, this music is going to go great on some movie or some TV show. Like, this is good shit for that. On its own, I struggle with it.
Okay. Yeah, I think my first soundtrack is going to be to a 007 movie.
Yeah, right. But he already did that. He did that with Alicia Keys.
No. I'm saying if I wrote a soundtrack to a movie, my songwriting would be to a 007 movie.
Gotcha. So, cool.
Which leads us back to the question. You've had some time to digest this.
I would love to do a 007. That'd be cool. I don't have an answer for you. I really don't. It would be something, whatever it would be something emotional. Like, it'd be something emotional. It wouldn't be, the Imitation Game. I can't even remember a single little. You know what? I don't either. So maybe I would do that.
Well, if the movie Beautiful Mind is the one that struck you the most, maybe it's, and that's pretty, wow. That kind of movie, maybe you'd write something to that.
Yeah, but I love that score for that movie already. I don't want to change it. I would steal as much melody as I could from The Beautiful Mind and insert it into the Imitation. And I get sued for it, but I would feel great. I was satisfied that I did that movie justice or something similar to The Beautiful Mind.
But maybe that kind of format for a movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be one of those. It would be like a Ron Howard or like one of those big, Best Picture type. That's the kind of movie.
Okay, so mad respect. I'm looking at the background, what's going on behind you here. I would assume those are all homemade lighting backs. Are these like terrarium lamps?
Is that what you call them? Yes, like they are. Yeah, the little flip lights. Yeah, we have 48 of them. Well, let me get a second, because Josh isn't going to brag about himself here, but I can brag about him all day. All these lights back here, he built. He designed them, he built them, he programmed them. He does everything from a production standpoint, from a whole live show. This guy does literally everything.
Very cool. I like it, Josh.
Guy grades touring does all this shit for his tour. Hey, you want to fire? Hang on a second.
Yeah, totally. Give us a little tour there. Yeah, you'll respect this, Josh. When I was a little bit younger than you are, I had a 48,000 watt light show that I built in my garage. And look at that.
Nice.
They're not finished yet. We're still in the process of working on it. Well, they can't even see the top anymore. There's a ton of them you can't even see, but that's right. Yeah, so go ahead. What did you build? I want to hear about this.
It was a 48,000 watt light show, okay? And I had this is the crazy part. To set up the lights so they would work in sequence, I had to build male-to-male plugs so they would go into each junction box. You've done this, okay. So it was a 2x4, a 2x4, a 2x4, and 2x4. So cross beams with 4 paint cans along the top, 4 paint cans along the bottom, and then we drilled into the lip of the paint can our screw holes, put a gel cap over that, got the ceramic fixtures from Home Depot, screwed that into the bottom, and that was our lighting setup. And we had everything wired out to a board that was basic home light switches that you would find on a wall, right? So you'd flip the first light switch, all corner yellows would turn on. The second one, it'd be the blues. The third one would be the reds. And then we had 5 1,000 watt par 64s on either side for stage fill. But we had the big backlights that came out of the audience, kind of like what you've got going on there. I love it. And my drummer was an electrician, and in order to power this thing, you couldn't just plug it into your garage outlet, right? He actually had to tie into the city power at the PD unit going into the house right before it got to the meter. So yeah, mad respect, brother.
First, I love this kind of, like, I love lifestyle living and stuff, but that's so funny you mentioned the actual home switches. My first apartment that Joey actually guitars with and lived with me. We were just like kids, we were 20-something years old. And we built a stripper stage and a pole in the apartment, like totally weren't allowed to do it. And when we set up all these lights, they were just regular old home lights, like you said, with gels on them. And then our coffee table, I cut into our coffee table and put an actual home plate with switches. So you could do the light show for whatever person was drunk and stripping on the pole. You had switches built into the coffee table that were doing the lights for the strippers.
Invite over all the neighborhood girls.
That's awesome.
The apartment building would come over to our place. It was in West Hollywood, like the middle of West Hollywood.
Oh, my God.
Listen, man, we've been sitting here bullshitting for almost a half an hour. Again, thank you all for taking some time out. I know I'm sure your life in the past couple of weeks has just gone crazy with press stuff, and I'm sure it's just going to get crazier before you go out and on tour. But before we split, I see figurines up above the back case right there. What are it looks like a pink pig or something, and then somebody dancing. What is that?
I think it was a fan, right? I don't know. This is a golf tournament trophy that none of us won.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I saw just the legs. I thought it was Michael Jackson, and I was like, man, that's cool. I want a Michael Jackson placard from winning a dance contest in 1987.
Second place golf trophy. It's not even first place. This is the first place pig, though. This is like first place for being whoever gave it to us is favorite band. Oh, it's called Flower, the Wolven Pig.
Oh, my God.
Nice. Yes. I like it. Well, Josh, Alex, I really appreciate the time, and I so look forward to seeing you guys live in action. I don't know if you've ever played Reno. Maybe you came here long ago and opened up for someone, but...
you need to come here. Yes, you need to come here.
Vegas.
Oh, hey, who's the dog?
My dog and Jordan's dog.
Okay.
Our wives. Want to come say hi before we have to go?
Yeah, come on.
My favorite. I haven't even met you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Aww. Aww.
What kind of breed is he?
He is a mutt. He is a bunch of stuff.
He looks like Shepherd Golden Retriever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God, he's cute.
All right, brother.
Come visit us.
Josh, Alex, thanks again, and we'll catch up to you very, very soon. Look forward to seeing you out on the road, man.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.